Slow loris. This primate licks a gland near its elbow and mixes it with its saliva. Then it bites using its grooved canine teeth, and the bite is so strong it can even pierce bone. The bite causes starts eating away at the tissue, basically melting the victim's facial tissue. They examined 54 bite cases, and people ended up with things like anaphylactic shock and paralysis, and the infections lasted more than 8 months. And by the way, this is the only venomous primate. When males fight over territory, they bite each other. The interesting part is that this venom isn't really for predators. It is mainly there for fights among themselves. Star-nosed mole. This Pokemon-like creature detects and eats its prey in just 120 milliseconds, and it is listed in the Guinness World Records as the fastest eating mammal in the world. It has 22 fleshy tentacles on its nose, covered with about 25,000 sensory receptors called Eimer's organs, meaning that in an area no bigger than a fingertip, it has more touch sensitivity than the entire human hand. While foraging, the mole touches 10 to 12 objects per second, and with each touch, information is sent to the brain through around 100,000 nerve fibers. It can also smell underwater by blowing out bubbles and then pulling them back in to capture scent molecules. This happens about 5 to 10 times per second. The system is so efficient that they spend most of their time eating because finding food takes almost no time at all. Potoo bird. This dude freezes like a broken tree branch and can stay like that for days without moving a single muscle. Its feathers come in shades of brown, gray, and black, arranged to perfectly imitate tree bark. They perch on logs that match their own body diameter. And here is the creepy part. Even their eyelids have tiny slits, so while they look like their eyes are completely closed, they can still detect movement. When night falls, they open their mouths so wide that they create a vacuum, pulling flying insects straight in without chasing them. The great potoo makes sounds that resemble moaning and growling, echoing through the forest, which local people have associated with spirits and prophecies. Their camouflage works so well that people can walk just centimeters past them without ever noticing. Texas horned lizard. This whining lizard, when it feels threatened, it shoots blood out of its eyes. Not a little splash, either it can fire it up to 1.5 meters. When coyotes or foxes get too close, it restricts the blood flow coming from its head. The pressure keeps building, and then the blood vessels burst, spraying blood straight into the predator's face. And this isn't normal blood either. These lizards eat harvester ants, and because of that, their blood tastes absolutely disgusting. After getting hit, a coyote will literally open its mouth and rub it in the grass for about 15 minutes. At least 8 species can do this. On top of that, they can puff themselves up to nearly twice their size, which is another separate defense trick. African puff adder. This snake that makes a balloon-like sound kills more people than any other snake in Africa. It can stay completely motionless for weeks, with camouflage so good that even detector dogs can't find it by smell. When prey enters range, it strikes and injects around 350 milligrams of venom. Now, here is the craziest part. Sometimes victims die from the sheer force of the impact before the venom even takes effect. Cobras, mambas, all the other snake species in Africa combined, the puff adder causes more deaths than all of them. It is literally the deadliest snake in Africa. Secretary bird. This bird is called a secretary because of its hair. This bird kills snakes by stomping on them. The kicks are insanely fast and powerful. We are talking blink, and you miss it kind of speed. That force equals roughly 5 times its own body weight, concentrated into a single hit aimed straight at the snake. Its legs are covered with thick scales that protect it from venom, and the bird can walk up to 32 kilometers a day while hunting across the African savannas. Around 60% of its diet consists of snakes, including puff adders, cobras, and boomslangs. When attacking, it spreads its wings for balance and delivers rapid consecutive kicks until the prey stops moving. Adults stand about 1.3 meters tall, making them the tallest birds of prey on Earth, and they are among the rare birds that hunt almost entirely on foot rather than from the air. Mata mata turtle. This naturally vacuum-like turtle opens its mouth so fast that it creates suction, pulling a fish straight in from up to 15 centimeters away. Its shell can reach about 45 centimeters and is covered in bumps, ridges, and algae, making it impossible to tell apart apart from a submerged tree trunk. It sits completely motionless on river bottoms in the Amazon basin. Those loose flaps of skin on its neck detect water vibrations coming from nearby prey. Its head is flat and triangular, with a snorkel-like nose that lets it breathe at the surface while keeping its body hidden below. When a fish gets close, this suction feeding happens in a fraction of a second, and the prey is swallowed whole because the mouth can't chew anyway. This turtle is built entirely for ambush. No chasing involved. Hoatzin. This guy, despite being a bird, loves to climb. They hatch with 2 claws on each wing, fully functional fingers that let them climb trees before they even learn to fly. When a predator approaches the nest, the chick drops straight into the water below, swims to a safe spot, then climbs back up the tree trunk using those claws, moving like a 4-legged animal. The way they use their front and back limbs is identical to lizards and dogs, and no other bird species has a documented walking style like this. The claws disappear after about 70 to 100 days as the flight feathers develop. Adult hoatzins digest leaves through bacterial fermentation in an enlarged crop, making them the only birds with a cow-like digestive system. This process takes around 45 hours and produces foul-smelling gases, which is why they are nicknamed stinkbird in South America. Gaboon viper. The gaboon viper's fangs are 5 centimeters long, making it the venomous snake with the longest fangs in the world. It lives in the rainforests of Central Africa and stays almost completely motionless because its geometric patterns blend so perfectly into the leaf-covered ground that people don't see it as a snake, but as part of the forest. That is where the problem starts. It gets stepped on. When it bites, the amount of venom delivered can reach up to 600 milligrams, a dose capable of killing dozens of people from a single snake. On top of that, it doesn't flee when approached. It doesn't try to warn you. It just stays right where it is. As a result, an ordinary walk turns into a completely unnecessary trip to the emergency room. Pit vipers have this really interesting ability. There is an organ between their eyes and nostrils that detects heat. Think about it. They can pick up temperature differences as small as 0.003 degrees Celsius from a meter away. That is exactly why rattlesnakes can hunt even in total darkness. There is a protein called TRPA1 that kicks in at 27 degrees Celsius in pit vipers, while in other snakes it activates at 37 degrees. So warm-blooded animals appear to them like bright heat signatures, standing out against the cool ground. This heat detection is their primary hunting sense.